The gorge is a nice place to live. So we're going to see remnants of old cabins. There were quite a few, but there are none anymore. Let's try to find evidence of that, of living in the past. Before there were cabins, there were also Native Americans who were living in this area too. Yes.
I've been on this trail before, but there's something I'd like to warn everybody about.
Okay.
That when we get to the end of the trail, there's a rock. It's very slippery. Do not step on it.
Okay.
Because you will literally fall into the river.
That is a great point because we're going to be on the upper part, like I was saying. So it's kind of a big drop-off cliff at the end.
Y'all don't want to jump off.
There's fences and things, but that's why we need to kind of stay on the trail. Why else might we want to stay on the trail? Well, yes, but hopefully that won't happen. There's enough adults and things, but you're right. We want to stay on the trail because we won't get lost from our group, right? Okay, any other? I saw more hands.
Because there might be snakes and they may jump out and try to bite you.
Hopefully right now is a little cool for the snakes, but that is a good warning. There are, there's lots of animals. There's animal habitats. We don't want to walk through animal houses or things like that. And there might be thorny plants, things like that, okay? So that's why we're gonna stay on the trail and stick together. But also we're going to, look off the trail, definitely. There's a lot of cool things to see off the trail. We're gonna try to find some animal clues today, but we're mostly gonna see people clues. Maybe we'll see a lot of animal clues too. Okay. This little animal needs little snacks along the way. And that's good. So, all right, should we start our journey?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end, I might share.
That's all right.
I'm just right. I'm hot too.
I'm glad I just put a sweatshirt on. Me and the arm and to the arm. I called your mom. I said, when we get back to the school, can you just call school and tell them that we're leaving? And she said, yep. I said, I don't want to sit around for 10 minutes to wait for you guys to go to school. I need to go back to work. Good. And you brought tennis shoes, your mom said.
Where do you think we're gonna go? We are gonna go this way. But we're gonna make a big loop and we're gonna come back this way. So we're gonna follow this trail this way. Well, not yet. Almost, I know. So what time of year is it right now? Spring. Do you see a lot of evidence of spring yet?
No.
Not yet, because it's the very beginning of spring and we're covered under the canopy right now. So there's not, that is kind of, the taller, bigger trees make a sort of layer on top that's kind of like a ceiling.
If it's if it grows like for a couple hundred years, it would be like just a ceiling?
Well, in summer it looks more like a ceiling because the leaves are big and they're kind of creating more shade, and then it's more like a ceiling. But it's still kind of the forest ceiling, and it's protecting the smaller plants below and the younger plants.
Yeah.
Some of the smaller trees, like this way, if you look this way, these pine trees are a little bit smaller than some of the, you can see some big ones too, but these are a little bit younger. So you can see a lot of different, it's the whole forest cycle out here. You can see baby trees, bigger trees that are doing, providing the canopy, and then even trees that are dying. And you'll see some of them have already fallen, and we'll find one and roll it over because that's a fun thing. But those are important parts of the forest as well because they provide homes for little animals and critters. Mosses and mushrooms grow on the fallen and dead trees. And I see some moss right now that looks kind of lively. So why don't we take a tiny peek over here? We'll see some along the way as well, other places.
I have something to say about when it's a high trail like that.
See what you think it feels like.
No, it's not good.
Is it wet? Is it spongy?
Spongy. I thought it was rock.
Yeah. Oh, yep, a little hole. That means it's an animal home.
Maybe a snake hole. I'm hungry.
If you look really closely, there's fungus growing on here.
Fungus.
Yep.
Don't touch it.
And there's also, if you look really closely and maybe get down a little bit, you can see that there's bugs flying around here. So did you remember what Mr. Williams said about the temperature? That if it's over 40 degrees, there'll be bugs flying around? And we see some right here, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, well they look like shells, don't they? It's a kind of mushroom or a fungus. And there's all types in the woods. You're gonna see all types. On this tree, there's this. We'll see other ones. They'll start to get bigger and different kinds that you'll see later in the season. But these, they're here. There's also a lot of lichen around, which is sort of the bluish, greenish stuff. Oh. It's a living thing that's not quite an animal, but it does have a lot of characteristics. Yes, okay. Mushrooms are a type of fungus, right? And some of them are edible, but the thing you need to remember is when you're in the woods, you shouldn't touch them because a lot of them are dangerous. And if you don't know what you're doing, some of them are poisonous. So we don't want to really touch them because if you get it on your fingers, the spores spread. So, yes.
I see something right there.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone look at this tree. And it has big holes in the bottom. Do you think that's a living tree or is it a dead tree?
A dead
tree. But do you think that would be a good place to hide if you were a squirrel or something? Yeah.
Wait, I think a lightning strike hit it.
Yeah, you could cover yourself in there. You could protect yourself from other predators or the elements. Yeah.
If I look, it's a very little
Covered.
What kind of fungus is it? It's part of a fungus.
Shall we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going.
A sign regarding the numbers 1 and 2 cabins. They were never really numbered when they lived here, but they've marked them with numbers so that it's easier to talk about them. So if you come back here, you can read these signs all along, the whole signs. But also if you look here, you can see a map of the cabins. And we're going on a trail that's like this. So we're gonna pass by all of the locations. Okay?
I have something to say.
Okay.
Okay, where are we going? We're going right here.
We're gonna kind of go. Yep, make a circle.
Are we going by the
Life cycle of the forest. Once it starts disintegrating like this, it brings nutrients back to the soil. So it helps the other trees grow when they do decompose like this. But also, these little holes would be a good place for a critter to live too, right?
Yes.
I think so.
I think there's a critter hiding in right now.
Is there? Could be.
I will.
They probably would not like to come out when we're up here because we're kind of loud and they don't know what's going on with us. You know, are we friends or are we foes? They don't really know.
Well, what does that mean?
A foe is sort of an enemy.
Oh.
It's just a different. So if you look past marker number 2, do you see a home?
No.
No, because these cabins have all gone away now. They were here for about 100 years, and then, you know, they weren't built like the houses today, or, you know, they weren't made of bricks and things, so some of them had bricks involved, but they're gone. Only one of the cabins that was here had running water, so that's kind of interesting. Do you have running water at home? Yeah, most people nowadays do. So it's a different way to live back then. Exactly here. But there's quite a big cottage across in a different part of the gorge that looks like this, and it's a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which he is a famous architect that made a lot of things in Wisconsin, including House on the Rock. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've been there.
It's
It was the worstest time of my life.
Oh, really? It's a funky
I
place.
had to walk 10 miles.
So
Yeah, some of
this
it.
is no longer?
No, this is
The one you
further.
can-
Yeah, that.
you can rent out then.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm kind of getting my boundaries of where I'm at.
It's
So
just.
when you go to Muir Lake, you go by the cabin. So we're like behind
we're just.
that.
behind-
Okay.
Yeah, we're between that cabin and the Muir Lake.
Yeah, I want to go in.
I know.
But you, I know you have people renting for parties and
Yeah.
different stuff.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, it's beautiful. The pictures I've seen anyway.
Stop pushing me and
Okay, so if we look behind this, you can see a lot of downed forest, right? A lot of downed trees. But it's part of the forest. Should we find one that we can roll over and look under? I don't quite see any bugs.
they're on the leaves.
A lot of them are probably under the leaves. This isn't necessarily the best plants to do. But oh look at I see it's still kind of cold for them, so they're moving slowly. That's also kind of looks nice. So we need a mixture of plants. So now move it back. Okay.
I'm gonna touch that.
Yeah, I will. Come on. Oh no!
Gardner, keep your boot, buddy.
And, you know, they spent their lives enjoying this area, including getting married here and things like that. So even though it seems kind of like we're just in the woods right now, we are, you know, people were living here and being here and enjoying the environment in little cabins. Not too long ago, really. But now it looks much different. This is what it. Do you think it looked like this when the first people who ever came here came here? No. What do you think would be different?
Probably there were houses. These alive.
Definitely there were
No
different trees,
benches.
too. No benches.
Or no signs.
No signs.
Or like
No trails.
no trails.
Yep.
Or cutting trees.
What happened?
Yep. Not
is
cut
the
trees either.
project manager
But
for the Mirror
you
Lake
know, the
Recreation.
landscape,
so the state
the way
wanted
it's
to own
shaped,
it. So
probably
they're
looks
trying to go to these landowners
like
and negotiate
Yep,
them
we're
to
close. We're getting
Well,
closer
listen
to
to
the
this.
edge, which is closer to Mirror Lake.
contacting all landowners, some
We are going to get a
250
good view.
people,
A couple good views.
arranging for appraisals and conducting negotiations with purchase. So they wanted to, like, many property owners were not wanting to sell. Like some were going to sell, and some objected strongly. The Herberts, which are these people, wait, which one? Down here.
Yeah.
Herberts were in the latter category. The first 2 times that the people stopped by to discuss purchasing them, Joyce rudely and loudly ordered him off of her property. But that is, when you have something, then all of a sudden the state comes in and tells you they want it.
Yeah.
That is hard.
It's a big stone. Have you ever heard of rock? This is a rock. This isn't just
I think this was probably part of the foundation of the old cabin that was here.
no, because they said it wasn't made out of it.
Yeah. So you know how there's the big bluffs there? We're right next to Mirror Lake, so it's very similar landscape here. But this it was private owned, but with the cabin, and now it's part of
We've been here one time.
This fish?
Somebody pointed out that we can see sap coming out right here. So when you walk by, let's take a close look, and you can see the sap, and you can also see the lichen. Lichen is a mixture of fungus and plant, and that's kind of the grayish blue stuff, greenish, bluish, gray stuff, and that's really very old. And some people, somebody asked before about eating pine needles.
I did.
Yep. And so now is not the time, but it is possible. And also, a lot of things in the forest are edible, but not necessarily in their current form. Like people will make tinctures out of pine needles, and even out of the things like the lichen. But if you don't know what you're doing, then it can be dangerous. So that's why we don't just start eating stuff in the forest, right? Or and this would be this would be pine. But every tree has something. That's how the tree gets its nutrients, is the sap inside. That's why we gotta be careful not to scrape it up. There's many different kinds of them. You can see all the different colors and textures. You're gonna be down there in the gorge. Okay, there's a lot of kids down there. There's a little bit of girls. Guys, come back.
Lizzie.
Back up.
Okay.
We can look over.
Be careful, Mom.
Back up.
That's really.
kind of a cutout of like the river that goes out of Mirror Lake where you take the canoe.
Used to be all wood. Don't go any further. Here's Wisconsin, right? There's the cross, there's the Baraboo Bluffs, so that was all water. All the way to Wisconsin, right? He's over in the cross today?
That is a great
Yeah, don't go
Where
that
are
way.
we?
We're going to take a different route down.
that was good.
We're probably like right here. My dad's over here.
No, you don't.
That's what it's called when they all cave in.
When they stack up together.
Wow. Oh my god.
This is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Today, yep, in a little bit, but this is, we're doing the upper part now, and then you're gonna do the lower part. But this is a good view of the lake. This is Mirror Lake, and this is probably how people found this spot. They were probably on the lake
There's a deer.
in a boat, and then saw that, oh, look at
Oh,
this.
what happened? It kind of looks like it's a two-headed deer. Yeah.
That's a goat.
That's probably how it happened.
Oh, my sister loves goats. Yeah, I know. Oh, it was a pet of Kenneth. I didn't know. How? You stalking me or what? Yeah. Wait, Bunting Rock. What's Bunting Rock? No, this is like this is
So that's how you do there. And this way, no. I mean, we're gonna see markers 9 through 14, which we just saw number 9. So these cabins were along the Ferndell Gorge. So that's pretty cool. They were backed up to it. But you had better pay attention when you go outside, right? Not to fall over. Just like we had to be careful over there. So if you come back, you can read these more in depth. But these talk about the families who had these cabins. Yeah. Shall we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. You roll it. Here, let's roll it towards you. Yeah, that way. Okay, now let's see. Oh my God! Do you see any bugs? A jackpot. I don't know, but there's probably quite a few. Oh, I see one. Oh, there's a little millipede.
I can't.
Yes. Is that like up at that trail?
I need your phone. What? No.
Oh,
Can I play games on the bus?
Very nice. A cracked open shell. Hey kids, let's group up for a second. Kiddos, group up. So this sign talks about two more markers, number 15 and 16. But 15 was a dance hall. So, people who lived in the cabins wanted some entertainment too. And what do you think they were doing if they mostly didn't have electricity or running water, things like that? Joey?
They'd hike around.
Hike around, yeah, enjoy the scenery.
Play games.
Play games.
Play board games.
Yeah, board games.
Dance.
Dance. Yep.
They could clean up the entry of the house.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, yep.
God, use your slide.
Go fishing. Absolutely. Singing. Yes, there's lots of things. that are nice to do without electricity, right? So they were doing all kinds of stuff like that. And this sign is also talking about the Ringling family, which, you know, they were a pretty famous family around here. So a lot of things around here talk about them if they were involved in them. So that's pretty cool. Okay, you know what else we just heard was a clue that was a cracked nut from an animal. So what animal clues? Come back, kids.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't have it. Somebody else had it.
I had it.
That's okay. That's okay. Oh, there's a big grouping of them, maybe? So what other animal clues have we seen today so far? We saw the cracked nut just then.
We saw like a home.
Little homes, holes, and other things that could be good homes. Any other things? Well, we rolled over the log and we saw the bugs moving around, right? Yep.
We've seen with the moth, like, let's say, where is it?
Oh yeah.
That, like,
Yeah, a bunch of moths, right? Okay, does everyone see that big stump that is right here? And can we notice that there's a lot of tiny holes in it? So that's for bugs to live in. Yep, that's a nice thing. What we have not seen is animal scat. Do you know what that is?
Animal poop.
Animal poop. We haven't seen much. I haven't seen any of it. So it's probably off trail. But that's a good clue because it tells you what kind of animals are around too. But I haven't seen it. So if you see any, let me know.
Non-toxic and not more protein.
Okay.
we don't go up there. We already went up there. Yeah. Come on. You get everybody's attention. That I had noticed this.
Get in there. Come here.
What?
Don't get in there. You can point at it.
I can't see it from here. Hold up.
Well, we cannot all follow you.
Hey.
I know. You guys can probably get a good I walk. I got you. Oh. I got you. Where's your mom? Why are you not talking to ghosts? The old moms. You're getting more actions. This feeling for my genetic beauty of the area is inspired by. Take your phone out. Phone out. Wait, if you're coming back, take a picture of me, okay? Okay, Mom?
Why don't you go by second?
Hi.
Go by second.
I want to send more of your mom. Where is it?
One of the things I like to do is just look under logs, the underworld. But before you, whoa, I didn't say move it. Before we do it though, we've got to make sure that it's safe and that people are safe. Move.
Joe.
So we don't want anybody's feet to get caught. And there's no branches, so there's no branches going to hit anybody. And there's kind of a rule in nature. First of all, that we leave no trace. So we don't bring garbage and leave garbage here. We don't throw away things in here. But also, if we move something, we always put it back again. Because even if we don't see anything, there's something living under there. And maybe they're just under the ground right now. So we're going to move this toward me, And we're just going to look and see. We're not going to grab anything. See if there's anything.
Oh, there's a centipede. Oh, centipede. There's a worm here.
Why is the centipede?
Where's the worm?
There's a worm.
Lizzie, let it move.
All right,
I fished this worm.
I am going to get one thing here. Oh, here's a centipede. Oh, and look at here's a slug. All right, I said we weren't going to take anything, but I'm going to take this one thing. And oh,
You should take the slug.
no, I'm not going to take this one.
There's one over by Joel,
Right here.
by Rowan.
Here, that one.
This?
Yep, grab that one. Okay, put it in my hand. All right, I need somebody who's patient. Let's see. Oh, wow. Lots of guys are patient. Lots of people. All right, this is a millipede. And when he's scared or cold, he curls up like this. But I'm going to say, give him 2 minutes. And you can hold your hand over here. Don't close it, just give him about 2 minutes. And he'll start uncoiling and just start walking away. And there's nothing to be afraid of once he does that.
Rowan has a...
Okay?
Rowan.
Yep. Put him there. Anything else? So a lot of these things are decomposers. They're eating the leaves, helping to turn the leaves back into dirt. All right, look at it. He's got little feelers out in front.
He's trying to crawl off my finger. Got it.
And you can put them back in here now then. All right, we're going to put this back and make sure nobody's going to get hurt. Fingers out.
Another one.
Well, we're going to leave them back in there.
I know.
All right, thank you. Just a little bit longer.
Huh? Can you stop doing that?
God's sake.
Find your work, please.
All right, I'm stopping here because I want to remind you to keep looking at the walls, the bluffs, and see all the different layers.
Yeah.
So at one point, all of this area was underwater. It's hard to believe, but millions of years ago it was all underwater. So and then about, maybe 10, 12,000 years ago was when we had the glaciers around here. And the glaciers formed a huge Lake Wisconsin, bigger than Lake Wisconsin is now. But then it started melting, and when the dam broke, all of that water came rushing into the dells and carved out the sandstone there, and some of it was here, carving out the rocks here. And the different layers indicate different hardness of the sandstone. There's some sandstone that's harder than others. But it also indicates when the sand was laid down on the millions of years ago oceans. So it's almost like a book. If you could peel them back, you could say, well, that level there was when the dinosaurs were living, and the layer down here was before the dinosaurs were living. And it's like a book that you could be reading in the rocks. So if you get really interested in rock and learn about rocks, you know what you can become? Rock stars!
I got it.
All right, let's do it. Because I don't like to take this off the trail because the plants that are growing on the here. Some people are asking why we can't go off the trail. We're going to go off the trail one place. And the reason for that is the plants growing on slants are vulnerable. That means they can be knocked down and just taken out of their roots and easily. So we're not going to do that. We're going to respect the trail. There's going to be one spot where I let kids go up. The reason we stopped here is because, I said the water has been rushing down. maybe 10,000 years ago. And it's carrying rocks and boulders, and it's hitting that wall up ahead there. And it's creating currents there, eddies moving around and swirling. And so the rocks are making little round spots. That's what that's all about up there. So we're going to go take a look at it.
Oh. I did.
Sandstone.
What is that? Island. Yeah.
Web.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, come on in closer. All right, raise your hand if you're listening. Good, thank you. So a couple of things here. This is sandstone. And it can measure hardness of rocks on a scale from 1 to 10. Sandstone is pretty soft. You can see I can just rub it together here, and the sand is coming down. And it's easy to, relatively easy to break. So but there's different levels of strength also. So the weakest one, the softest rock, number 1, is called tell. Some of you may have heard, guys, some of you may have heard of talcum powder. It's a white rock, but it's just very soft, very easily broken. Anybody know what the number 10 hardest might be?
Quartz.
Quartz is up there, maybe 6, 7, something like that. Maybe even 8. Granite is hard also, that's way up there too. Diamond. Diamond is the hardest kind of rock.
Wait, do diamonds stick?
Joseph Allen Cook.
Emeralds are up there too. Now another thing here, somebody in the last group found this. So what is this? A pine cone. Nature detectives now. Tell me about this part of the pine cone.
It has a bunch of leaves, but then
Ah, an animal was eating it, pulling these off. What was it looking for?
nuts.
Seeds, or the nuts, right. Now, a little red squirrel often does this, and so they might sit up here, like maybe right here, and if you guys can get down a little bit so they can see. There's lots of these little, I don't know what they're called, we're going to call them petals. Lots of these little pine cone petals up here. So, little red squirrel was sitting up here, peeling away, and then he got enough or he got tired and he just left. Now some of the moms might recognize this kind of behavior. After eating, they just get up and leave and forget about the dishes. So the little red squirrel left his dirty dishes right here. Now none of you kids do that, do you? You all help take the dishes to the sink and do the dishes?
Yeah.
All right, coming up is a very narrow spot. But so you have to go single file and just take it in, look at it. And again, you can touch things, but don't scrape anything off.
Okay, we should put the sticks down.
Before we do that.
Sticks down, please. Stay on the trail, Joey.
I saw something like that over there.
All right, I heard some people say this is a wasp nest. Anybody want to say something else?
I know it isn't. It's not the wasp nest. It would have all this on it. It would just be the home. And it would be a. Now it's a hornet. All the stuff around it. That is not a honeybee.
I'm sorry.
A honeybee.
Honeybee? Okay, it's called a bald-faced hornet's nest. And it's made one season. And then the males all die and the queen goes under a log and starts a new nest next spring. So about now the queen might come out. So I knew I was safe taking this because I knew they were gone. So the worker hornets, they go around to a tree and they start chewing in it. Get a big mouthful or maybe a stomach full, I'm not sure. And then they come back and they spit it out. And that's how this whole thing is made. And then they make these little compartments in there. The queen lays eggs in there. And then they keep feeding it. And they start, maybe make a new queen somehow. But there's a lot that I would like to learn more about yet. But it's a bald-faced hornet's nest.
What's a bald face?
Joey, look at me.
The question is, what's a bald face? You know, names of things are tricky. And why they name things, certain things, because maybe it's named after somebody who discovered it. Maybe the face on the hornet looks like it doesn't have any hair. It's a good question, and I don't know the answer. But I do know this is single file, and take your time going through here. Touch it, see if it's colder than out here. No scraping.
Single file line, please. Joey, single file line. Get in line.
Mom, it's the ultra and twin. We're going into the caves, Mom.
Somebody can fit there. You can hide too. You can fit there. Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't know. Help you. Wait, can I call Zoe?
Oh, put that down there. There was a moth in
Get home.
There was a moth inside of the water. Oh, there's a moth in there? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the lake.
Yeah, over there. So I'm like, ah.
So, but we're on the other side of the state park,
Yeah, let's do
for the camping. Yeah, there's the river. We're on the other side of the lake. And the river that goes out of the lake. Does that make
So
sense?
if we walked that way, we would run into him. This is the gorge that goes down.
Crocodile.
Facing this way.
Any snakes living in there? Spiders? Now that's a good choice.
So we get closer down here to the water.
What if you step on that rock? What if you stand on that rock? Hey, Mom.
Way up there is Echo Rock. Well, really.
Oh, that's the song.
Oh, yeah.
Just the campground itself. I think
That's, yeah.
okay, that's what I.
That's beautiful.
this is like when I go with my dad, we like to do the journeys.
Can I have a deal?
Like, the one you gotta get the lottery to, it's all like that. That's just beautiful, right? So there's others that are very close to the same look and feel, but you don't have to win the lottery to get to it.
Yeah.
A lot of that is like this stuff, and then you got trees that you have to come up and
Yeah,
climb over to get down, like, oh, that is so awesome.
view, and you don't want to do the long hike, you take the short way in. But if you want to do exercise, like. No! Yeah, just like up in the North Shore.
Okay.
Except there are so many times that you know ways to sneak in to see the big waterfall.
Yeah, the little shortcut piece, yeah. This is where we went up.
You can get a class picture with them over there.
Poisonous snakes and
We have been lucky enough, we have not. No.
scorpions or anything. No?
You three, be careful over there. It's slippery.
But that's pretty close, that's going up. It's like a hollowed out cave, kind of.
Caleb, don't go that far. Go back over to the other side.
I'm gonna laugh at you.
Don't put your foot up there, though.
Off the hillside. Off the hillside. Off the hillside.
Put the stick down, please.
All right, in a little closer. Now, if you're in the front, get down.
What are you gonna do? Ow!
Rowan.
Over here, I think it's the last time. Come here and listen.
All right, raise your hand if you're listening.
I don't know how to say.
Thank you. So I stopped here because of the fern leaves. Now, you've seen some plants are just starting to grow up, but the fern leaves are pretty big already. So they've lasted over the winter.
Yeah, the pokers.
So in my nature detective mind, I said to myself, why are the fern leaves still green? Why don't they turn brown and die like so many other plants? And I found out that the fern leaves do something pretty interesting to protect themselves. First of all, they fall down, so they're close to the ground, so the heavy winds aren't battering them and the snow kind of goes on top of them. And if you've ever built a snow fort, you know that if you're inside of a snow fort, it's a little warmer than outside. So the ferns are aware of that too. And you might think, wait a minute, the ferns are aware of it? It's kind of tricky, but it's new science that they're learning about plants. And then the fern, instead of making oxygen, doing the photosynthesis, it makes a sugar, and it puts the sugar all through the leaves, and it's like an antifreeze that protects them. So some scientists are thinking now, do plants have intelligence? Can plants think and plan? Science is amazing, the things they're wondering about now. All right, we're really getting into the gorge here now.
Yay! What's the gorge?
A little bit further to go.
Right? I want to. Wait, why did they need a camera? Because they're going to fit on something. That's why my mom is in the charge of the camera. Oh. She always do that to me. She always put it up close and just like that to me. That's her daughter. She has to be by your mom. Oh, so we go up here next time.
All right, listening. We're going to go down near the water. Did I say in the water?
No!
We're going to go down near the water, but down near the water is a plant, a special plant. One of the very first plants to come up in the springtime in a wetland. And it's about this high right now, and it's kind of curled and maybe pointy. It's kind of a maroon and green and red, and it's called skunk cabbage. And one of the amazing things about skunk cabbage is that it starts growing earlier than the snow melts away. So it grows up through the snow because as it grows, it creates its own heat, and it melts its way through the snow. So there's no snow down here, but look for the little plant that's kind of curled over. It's not leafy, it's curled over in red-green stuff. Are you going to go in the water? No! Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Everybody! Come over here!
I don't see anything.
No, I don't. Mr.
Hey,
Williams.
brothers, close them up.
I found a shell.
Oh,
The water, please.
Can you hear the ocean out of it?
okay.
Can you hear the ocean?
All right, guys, come on over. Come on over.
I fell in my
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm going to keep it.
Come on over. Come on.
Why do this always happens to me? Every few times I your mom's safe on the mud.
Come on over.
Every time my shoes. Can you clean it? Okay.
All right, raise your hand if you're looking. All right, see this snail?
I can't see it.
You've probably heard of invasive plants, right? Yes. Like garlic mustard and buckthorn are invasive plants because they take over and don't let the native plants grow. This is an invasive snail called the Chinese mystery snail. And it was brought over here because for restaurants. So if you go to a restaurant and it has seafood or something like that, it won't say slimy snail from Mirror Lake. It'll say escargot. But that's why these were brought over here to eat. But now they take over. They take over the space for native snails, and they're part of the swimmer's itch cycle. The little bug gets in them, and it gets on duck feet, and then when you go swimming, it gets around your swimsuit, and it just itches, kind of like a mosquito bite. But it's not a friendly thing, and there's very many of them here in Mirror Lake. So anybody have any questions about stuff we've seen along the way?
Something.
Another clue, good.
It's good. Huh?
And we found the skunk cabbage down here. And this is where you were overlooking the lake before.
Look at my shoe. Look at mine. No. But I have a hole in my shoe. Oh my god.
All right, so the rule going back
Me too. I have a hole.
You stay on the trail
Oh, wait,
and then just find your way back. And we're heading back now.
2. Oh my God.